Let's start on 128. Shabbat Shalom, everyone that's there. I'm just kind of keeping this mic warm until Rabbi Mike gets here, hopefully sooner rather than later. We will start on 128 with Hine Matov. Kind of get ready, kill just enough time. Hine Matovu Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matovu Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Hine Matov. La 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 la. Hine Matovu Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Okay, let's go back to 121, and I will get out of the way for our candle blessings. 120 and 121, and you guys may lead us in that.
Oh, they are old. It's okay. Sorry.
We do that at home too. Well, usually here, so we don't.
Yeah.
Let's I'm gonna say this first, and then we can do the blessing because I like it. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Let's see if I can find it. See, Becca, don't get your fingers.
Can I put it in?
Mm-hmm. Just don't hold that top one. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu, l'hadlik shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat. Oh, sorry.
Sorry. I'm glad it's happening.
What?
Shabbat Shalom. So I texted, hi, Shabbat Shalom. I texted Steve and Denise, either of whom are here, so I apologize for that. The traffic was pretty rough coming in. Lucky you. What's that? A little late, yeah. I apologize. What's that? Okay. All right, we're here. We're here, we made it. Atlanta traffic did not stop me. So, did we do any singing? We did some singing? Yeah, all right. Everybody was standing ovation. There was thousands of people. They all left. They all left?
They all left right
Right
the second before you came in here was packed.
Yeah, they were like, what's the story? We're leaving. What if we sang Shalom Aleichem and welcomed in the angels? I think that could be something that we need to do at this very moment.
142. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's not on, are you sure? Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzitchem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. On page 135. Let us exalt Adonai our God and bow toward the mountain of holiness. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. On page 136, Mizmor LaDavid. Havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim, Havu l'Adonai kevod va'oz, Havu l'Adonai kevod shemo, Ishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim, El hakavod hirim, Adonai al mayim rabim. Kol Adonai b'koach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, Vaishaber Adonai ad harzei halvanon, Yarkidem kemo egel Levanon ve'Sirion, kemo ven re'emim. Kol Adonai chotzev lavod esh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yecholel ayalot. Let's read together page 136, the English, the bottom of the page. A psalm of David. Ascribe to Adonai, O divine beings. Ascribe to Adonai glory and strength. Ascribe to Adonai the glory of God's name. Bow down to Adonai, majestic in holiness. The voice of Adonai is over the waters. The God of glory thunders. Adonai over the mighty waters. The voice of Adonai is power. The voice of Adonai is majesty. The voice of Adonai breaks cedars. Adonai shatters the cedars of Lebanon. God makes Lebanon skip like a calf. Sirion, like a wild young ox. Adonai oz le'amo yitain. Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. May Adonai grant strength to God's people. May Adonai bestow on God's people peace. We say Amen. Lecha Dodi is on page 138. We're going to chant the first, fifth, 8th, and 9th verses. Lecha Dodi likrat kahala pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kahala pene Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad hishmianu. El hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shem ultiferet ve'letila. Lecha Dodi likrat kahala pene Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri kiva orech kumi ori uri shir daberi kavod Adonai alayich nigla. Alecha Dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Verse 8. Yaminu small tifro tzivi et Adonai taritzi al yadish ben parzi v'nismecha v'nagila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha uvetzola toch emune am segula. Boi chala lecha Dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Alecha Dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Yai dai 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 yai da 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 dai 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 yai da 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 dai 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 ya da da dai ya da dai dai dai. Whew, okay. You made it. I was late. You made me feel better, Wendy, because you were later. You were at the doctor's office for an hour. What's up with that traffic? That's wild out there. This was bad. All the way from Atlanta. But we made it to Shabbat. We did it. And it says, that is it being Psalm 92, Tov lahodot l'Adonai. It is good to give thanks to Adonai. So, Miss Sarah, would you help us with our microphone? Anyone? I don't know if this is working. Let me see. She's an expert. It's on. There's a light on. Oh, there we go. We just needed to. Brittany in the back needed to make it work. So, Tov lahodot l'Adonai. It's good to give thanks. What are you thankful for? What is going well? Anything at all going right for you in your life? You got to think of something. I got
one.
You got one?
Yeah.
Tell us. Put the microphone nice and close to your mouth.
So today.
Even closer.
So on Monday we're gonna have like 3 days left of school. Yeah, and I'm happy about it.
You're happy that there's only 3 days left of school.
And sad about it.
What are you gonna? And sad?
Yeah, because I'm gonna miss my friends and my teacher.
Aw.
Yeah.
Well, that's you had friends and teachers that you liked enough that you'll miss.
Mhm.
There's something to be said for that. Okay. Anybody else? Something that's. We got one.
Not really. Okay. Okay. Tomorrow, I'm going to see my goddaughter in a ballet recital. After that, I'm going to go to the Gwinnett Stripers and hopefully see Rana Kuno. Oh, yeah. Yes. Okay.
Wait, you're going to see the daughter, the granddaughter in the ballet recital. What was the second one?
We go to the Gwinnett Stripers, a minor league team.
Oh, the Gwinnett Stripers. Yes, and so Acuna's got another brother?
No. Acuna he played last night.
Is well, he's going.
He's
Is
supposed to be playing then.
he's like rehabbing or something?
Yeah, right.
Oh, you know, Luis Angel is on the Mets. I know you. So that's
Okay.
exciting.
Yeah, my daughter is retiring from teaching after 25 years.
Oh my goodness, your daughter's retiring from teaching.
Yeah.
Wow,
I can't believe
hallelujah.
I'm old enough to have
That's
a daughter.
crazy. I
who's-
can't believe you're old
who's
enough either.
retiring, but
That's
she
wild.
Is. I'm very proud of her.
That's it. Mazel tov. All right.
I can't think of anything.
Can't think of anything. Yeah,
Um,
your guy got a little Achilles tear.
Oh, we had like the pre-K. My daughter had like her celebration, like graduation today. That was really cute. That was
and
fun
she's
to.
going to be in
She's gonna be in kindergarten. Yeah.
immersive language.
Yeah, she'll learn all math and science and Spanish next year. It'll be really cool.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
No, seriously, like in a country where where we seem to be denigrating languages other than English. No joke. It's really great. Well, we got another one. We got another one.
Another one.
Yes, my great-granddaughter, Aurora, was accepted into the pre-K program at her school. Her mother wanted a homeschool, but we convinced her not to do that. So she's going to be going to pre-K next year.
Amazing.
Oh.
Amazing. Fantastic. And
School's out in like 3 days.
you're the same one. School's out in 3 days. Well,
I'm happy and sad.
happy and sad.
Yeah, now I have to figure out what we're going to do.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, and I'm excited for my vacation.
Where are you going?
To the beach.
Going
In
to the beach?
Florida.
Florida.
Yeah.
Which beach? Do we know? Fort Walton?
Yeah, Fort Walton.
East Coast, West Coast, Panhandle? Panhandle. Nice. Near Destin. All right. All right. Well,
Yeah, I'm excited.
anything online coming through?
My sister is graduating high school tomorrow.
Hey, Mazel tov.
Yeah. Ardios Academies of Gwinnett. It's like a Christian homeschool cooperative.
Nice.
So,
Very nice.
yeah.
All right. Well, listen. For all the things that we are grateful for that we share out loud, things that we're holding to ourselves, I think we tried this melody last time. We'll see if you can pick it up. Where it'll be a Tov Lehodot Ladonai. And there's a Yadadai section, which is fun. Let's see how it goes. Tov Lehodot Ladonai. Uzamer Lishimcha Elyon Lahagid. Lahagid Baboker Chasdecha. Ve'emunatecha Balelot. Tov Lehodot. Tov Lehodot Ladonai. Uzamer Lishimcha Elyon Lagid. Lagid Baboker Chasdecha. Ve'emunatecha Balelot. Yadadai. 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 Tov lehodot ladonai. Uzamer lishimcha elyon. Lagid baboker chasdecha. Ve'emunatecha balelot. How many people do we have online? We have 7? All right, then we can say the Baruch Hu. 7,000, yes. So I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we turn to page 146. Thanks, people online, for helping us make a minyan. And we help you make a minyan. All right, we rise in body or spirit, Baruch Hu, 146. All right, you ready? Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Baruch hu et Adonai Hamevorach Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Hamevorach Leolam Vaed Hamevorach Hamevorach Leolam Vaed. You may be yes, you may be seated. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro mariv aravim. Page 149 in the English at the top of the page. Please join me. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and seasons glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Umavir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzavaot shemo. El chai v'kayam tamid, yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Ahavat olam, universal, expansive love. We need it now more than ever. That's 150. I was going to go into the Shema on 152. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael amcha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu lemadeta Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shochmenu v'kumenu nasiach b'chukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu ve'orech yameinu uvahem negeh yomam v'layla. We rise in body or spirit. Ve'avatecha al tasur mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, 154. V'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha Uvelechtecha v'aderech, uv'shoch becha v'kumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot bein einecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uv'hisharecha, leman tiskeru, v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'item kedoshim le'lohechem, Ahani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'Elohim, ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet. You may be seated. Preparation for our song of liberation. Doing okay? You doing okay over there? Seem a little like you're in. You want to get, we're going to sing our liberation song, Sarah, which could be like a dancing moment. Because like they sang and danced at the shores of the sea. Maybe I'll do a dancing version of it. Let's see if we can do that. Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about liberation first. 157, top of the page. Please join me. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, and that there is a better place, a promised land. That the winding way to that promised land passes through the wilderness. That there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Page 158. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, no ra tehilot osefele, no ra tehilot osefele. Yai da 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 da, yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da, yai da 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 da. Da 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 da. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze'eli anu ve'amru, ze'eli anu ve'amru, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. V'nemar kifara Adonai et Yaakov v'leo miyad chazak mimenu baruch atah Adonai ka'al Yisrael. The bottom of page 160. I invite you to join me in the English of the Hashkivenu. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel, for your name's sake be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from our wrongdoings. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and our coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, over Jerusalem. U'shmor tzeitzenu v'oinu l'chaim u'l'shalom, me'ata v'ad olam. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. We rise in body or spirit in honor of the Shabbos Kodesh, the Holy Sabbath. 162, V'shamru. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. Lasod et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Bein you vein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam, oti leolam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. Lasod et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. The Amidah, the Tefillah. I'm going to start on page 164, go to 166. We'll do a few of the prayers out loud, and then we'll finish with some private prayer. What do you think? You into that? Good. Here we go. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tahilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Bending and bowing, remember. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chazdei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'Neihem, L'Mahan Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Be'ezrat Sarah. 168. Atah Gibor Elam Adonai Mechaye HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia Mohorid Hatal Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim Sohomech Noflim Verofech Olim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Micha Mocha Bal Givurot Umido Melach Melech Memit Umechayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman Atah Lachayod HaKol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh HaKol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh u'kadoshim b'chol yom yihalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. We continue 170, 171, silently through 180. Take as much time as you need. This is your moment for Hebrew, the English, commentaries, or just some quiet time. What do you need from this moment? It's all yours. You let us know that you've gotten to the end of your Amidah when you get there by being seated. The bottom of 179 from Israeli poet Yehuda Amichai. Don't stop after beating the swords into plowshares. Don't stop. Go on beating and make musical instruments out of them. Whoever wants to make war again will have to turn them into plowshares first. Lo yisa goya al goy cherev, lo yilmedu od milchama. Lo yisa goy al goy cherev, lo yilmedu od milchama. From Isaiah, nation shall not take up sword against nation. They shall never again know war. This says no, but Yilmadu means learn or study. Shouldn't even study war. Can you hear Ratzon? Take a moment to hold close the people in our world who are in need of healing, whether it is physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. We often are praying for cures, but cures are not always in the cards. There is always some kind of healing, though, that's available. And our words matter so deeply. People really are changed, and the fabric of the universe is changed by these prayers. So just always know that. And I'm going to invite you to turn to page 371. We're going to chant the first verse of the Friedman Mishaberach, and then we'll pause. Sarah will come around with a microphone for any names you want to say out loud, holding close, that you're holding close in your heart for healing, and then we'll finish with the second verse. Mishaberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. We add names. What's your grandma's name?
I can't remember.
Can't remember grandma's name? Margaret Watson.
Margaret Watson.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
Okay, and we're going to let other folks add some names.
Margaret Watson, Tom Watson, Justin McElhenney.
Okay, we'll go to this side.
Same list. Morrison Felice Friedman, Katie Adler, Lyndon Steve Ely, Jerry and Linda Jacobson, Luana Bachler, Wilda Fink, Barbara Freed, Jean Blankenship, Julie Blankenship, Kenny Woodruff, Bobby Ginsberg, Shelley Perkle, Barry Nicholsberg, Fran Brueggemann, Ann Carroll Pence, Mark Schoen, and whoever is left in Gaza, not too many, of the hostages.
Yeah.
Do you have anybody?
Anybody online?
Yep. Linda Ehrensoft, Marcy Schulman, Joe Wagner, Barbara Frank, Uvona Thomas, Sumani Ehrensoft, Dennis Scooterman, Tanya Hurst, Jean Simmons, Ann Moore, Rory Gaha, Dreama Via, Holly Helbeen, Dave Evans, Shelley Perkle, Diana Swiger, Patty Behrman, Cindy Fleming, Angie Brotherton, Wendy Fine, Bobby Ginsberg, Bars A. Freed, I think that's Barbara Freed, Kenny Woodruff, Barry Nicholsberg, and J.J. Ruff.
Thanks. Rachel Bat Rivka, Sarah Bat Rachel, Noach Ben Luba, Shelley Kleiner, Barry Lyman, Helene Byron, Gabriella Bach-Gloria, Michelle Adams, Barbara Birnbaum, Shlomis Bachana, Carolyn Carlton, Colleen Hennessy, and some names that I'm not remembering, but God will remember because that's God's job. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei HaCholim, blessed are you, Adonai, healer of the sick. We say, Amen. Did you have something that you wanted to tell me? You forgot. Okay. All right. Want to take a seat for a second? Maybe? Dear Dr. Laura, thank you for doing so much to educate people regarding God's law. When someone tries to defend the homosexual lifestyle, for example, I simply remind him that Leviticus 18:22 clearly states it to be an abomination. End of debate. This is from an email, a forwarded email that makes the rounds every few years. You may know radio talk show host Dr. Laura, and you may know that she from time to time says things that are homophobic and are transphobic. And this email is a part of a strategy to combat that homophobia. You may have read it yourself. Somebody may have sent it to you. You may have sent it. I do need some advice from you, however, it continues, regarding some of the specific laws and how to best follow them. Most of my male friends get their hair trimmed, including the hair around their temples, even though this is expressly forbidden by Leviticus 19:27. How should they die? I would like to sell my daughter into slavery as sanctioned in Exodus 21:7. In this day and age, what do you think would be a fair price for her? And so on and so forth. The email includes no less than 12 verses from the Torah, each of which is implicitly judged to be absurd or outlandish. And that's how we know that the prohibition against homosexuality is just old-fashioned. Included in the list of Torah verses that are mocked in this email is, in fact, one from this parsha, this week, this Shabbat, Parshat Emor, in a discussion about priestly sacrifices in the temple in Jerusalem. Leviticus 21 says that a person with a mum, in Hebrew, a blemish, lo yikrav lahakriv lachem Elohav, should not approach to offer food for their God. The blemishes are outlined in detail: blindness or hunchbackedness or having a broken hand or foot. Another bit, so we would think, according to this email, of biblical absurdity. It's natural, I think, when challenged with difficult passages in the Torah, to feel compelled to dismiss them. And many of us employ this email to Dr. Laura strategy. They are outdated, we protest. Or if we went to a good college, they are anachronistic. Women, LGBTQ folks, and others who have been marginalized by religious authorities reflexively train ourselves to explain these texts away as relics. They're old-fashioned. Nobody thinks that anymore. And, to be sure, it's an effective way to deal with this stuff. These arguments safeguard the dignity of those who have been marginalized by shining a light on the most confusing or troubling parts of the Torah, pointing out the hypocrisy of the people who say they follow this part of Leviticus but not that part. It's a great way to win an argument against a religious conservative. But for Jews, this victory comes at a pretty big cost. We win by trashing the Torah. the text most sacred to our people, we win the argument by saying, oh, our text, that's irrelevant, that's old-fashioned. It's sort of like when we were kids and you'd be playing Candyland. Did you ever play Candyland? And you were losing, and what do? Just throw the board over, and I have not lost because the game is over. Do we really want to do that with the Torah? Throw the whole board over? So I want to do two things. First, I want to talk about, in general, what we do with difficult texts, like this one that says a blemished priest can't come forward to offer the sacrifices. And second, I'll take a stab at the prohibition against this blemished priest in particular. First, general conversation. What do we do with these difficult texts? Being in relationship with Torah, as the Jewish people have been for millennia, means Torah has never been static. When it comes to Torah, Jews are not literalists. We do not take the text literally. Rabbis and commentators throughout the generations have argued and discussed and talked about what these texts mean. And through these conversations, they sometimes come up with interpretations that contradict the plain meaning of the biblical text. We have a perfect example in this week's Parsha. Besides the priest thing, we have ayin tachet ayin, an eye for an eye. You've heard of this, yes? If you hang around in liberal parts of the country, if you go to Berkeley, where I used to live, you'll see bumper stickers say, eye for an eye leaves everyone blind. Right? Sometimes it's ascribed to Gandhi. The rabbis in the Talmud say this is not literal. It's interpreted to mean fair compensation for crimes committed, rather than actually going around and poking people's eyes out. That's not what it's about, say the rabbis. Eye for an eye, says our sages, means an eye for an eye rather than a life for an eye. If you poke out the eye of a nobleman, you might get killed. Or a few coins for an eye. You poke out the eye of a slave, pay the owner 50 cents. They connect their interpretation to a mitzvah that shows up later in Leviticus, mishpat echad, one law. You should have one law for native born and for immigrant alike. Punishment should fit the crime. It is not dependent on who the perpetrator is. And in a society like ours, where punishment received for crime has everything to do with your ethnicity or your immigration status or how much money you can spend on a lawyer, you could do a lot worse than eye for an eye. It's a metaphor. These difficult texts that are difficult for us to read, well, it's through open and honest and creative conversation that they're transformed. This is a powerful statement on justice and jurisprudence. Equal justice under the law. It's on the Supreme Court building. Every once in a while, they even follow it. They got that from eye for an eye. It's not about eye poking. It's a metaphor. But you got to talk about it. If the rabbis didn't have the conversation, we'd never get to that. We do this in every generation. We talk about the texts that are given to us as an inheritance, and we use our values and we find out what they mean to us. And in the process, we publicly define ourselves. That's always what we've done. Okay, so what do we do about our blemished priest? Poor guy. Can't offer the thing. I can think of a couple possibilities. First, maybe we use that good old-fashioned Jewish interpretive thinking. Just like an eye for an eye is not literally a license to go eye plucking or picking or poking. Maybe the priestly blemishes are not physical. Maybe this is also a metaphor. Imagine this scenario. Remember, we offered sacrifices in the temple, right? So you schlep this lamb all the way to Jerusalem. The lamb has a name. What's the lamb's name? Give me a name. I don't know. Shlomo. Shlomo the lamb. You're dragging them all the way to Jerusalem. You bring them to the Beit HaMikdash, the holy temple, to be a sacrifice, and you get stuck with this big yutz as a priest. This is who you're trusting your sacrifice to. I mean, he's descended from the priestly line, right? They have to be a priest. But look at him. He doesn't know how to act. What if his blemish is not physical blindness, but a blindness to the seriousness and the importance of the moment? What if his blemish is not in physically being a hunchback, but in not standing up to do what is right? What if his blemish is not physically having a broken hand or a busted foot, but in not reaching with his hand to connect to his people, not running with his feet to do God's service? If that interpretation is right, then this wouldn't be a teaching about physical deformities, but it would be about spiritual ones. A lesson for people like me that religious leaders have to bring our best selves. And anytime we have positions of authority, any one of us, anywhere, anytime we're in charge of anything, we should bring our best selves and not lead with the blemishes and try and do the best we can to heal them. Another possibility. Chizkuni, 13th century French commentator, looks at our text and explains the prohibition this way. He says if you send a priest up there who's got a blemish, you send a priest up there with like a thing in his eye, it doesn't look good. Chizkuni says it does not look right for such a person to bring offerings to God. How could we let that person make a sacrifice? Which, of course, begs the question for us, who gets to decide which people look good or look right? People who are judged to be weird or odd or wrong or improper in some way, how do we change our world so that those people are no longer seen as bad? Because if they're not seen as bad, then there's no problem with the blemished priest serving God, because we don't see it as a blemish anymore. If bringing out the holiness in the Torah requires maintaining a holy relationship with the text, not giving up on it, not making jokes about it or turning it into a nonsense text, bringing out the holiness in people requires the same thing. We don't give up on people just like we don't give up on the text. And we keep talking, we keep having the conversations, we keep saying, is this person really blemished, or is this just the way I look at them? Change only comes through honest encounter, through being honest with how we feel and where our shortcomings are, through speaking up, through communities like this one, facing the difficult text, the big challenges, and believing that they don't have to stay challenges forever. Just like the text doesn't stay static, just like we call it an Eitz Chaim, a living tree. It is alive. That's why we don't call it an Old Testament, because it's not old to us. It's always new. Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor, we're taught in Pirkei Avot in the Talmud. It's not up to you to finish the work. But that doesn't mean you can ignore it either. The work of speaking up, of healing the blemishes in our world, in our communities, and yes, in our texts, that's our job. We don't have to finish it, but we can't ignore it. It's up to us to find the blessings hidden in the blemishes. It is up to us to know that that is our work, and it's really holy, and it's a great blessing to get to do it. Ken yehi ratzon should be God's will. I'm going to invite you to rise in body or spirit. Turn to page 586. I got a new tallis. It's slippery, though. Sorry, I keep futzing with it. I like it, but I think I need some clips. 586. Aleinu. Middle of the page, we rise in body or spirit. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, lated gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kachol hamonam. V'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch Turn to page 591. Top of the page, please join me. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand, but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. Kakatuv b'toratecha, Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed, v'nemar, v'haya Adonai, l'melech al kol ha'aretz, bayom hahu, yiyeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, u'shemo echad. Maybe seated. We affirm our awareness of the holiness that courses through. Oh, wait. I almost forgot. We got to count the Omer. The Omer is our step-by-step walk from liberation, getting out of Egypt, to revelation, the revelation of the Torah on Mount Sinai. So, I'm going to invite you to turn to page 570. 570. You'll see on the bottom it says, the rabbis designated a ritual of counting the days, a practice that has been interpreted as bringing to consciousness our people's movement from slavery to Sinai. The purpose of freedom is not simply freedom from servitude, but freedom to devote ourselves to God's purpose. Hinani muchan muzuman lekayem mitzvat aseh shel sfirat haomer. I am ready to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer. Yesterday, we were just finishing up day 33. For all you math majors out there, I think you know what's coming after 33. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat haomer. Today is the 34th day of the Omer, which, what's that? You guessed right. After 33 comes 34. That's very good. It's easy. Which makes 4 weeks and 6 days, I think, of the Omer. Is that right? 4 times 7 is 28, plus 6 is 34. May we learn to number our days that we gain a heart of wisdom. We declare our insistence that there is holiness coursing through every fiber of this world, in joy as well as in sadness, and life as well as in death, by reciting Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish. In particular, the Beth David family is remembering the yahrzeits this month of May of Sarah Paratsky, Norman Freed, Samuel Ruchin, Hai Berez, Linda Gosted, Francis Diskin, Samuel Levy, Sylvia Kaplan, Marie Schlain, Samson Nathan Weissman, and Alex Fine. Are there any other recent deaths or yahrzeits, anniversaries of deaths that we are remembering at this time? Yeah, you got somebody? Let us know. Anybody? Well, I'm going to invite the mourners among us to rise. In addition, if it's your custom to rise with them, in memory of those who die every day from this awful war in Israel and Gaza, and those who die from hate, from abuse, violence, hunger and poverty, lack of health care in a nation of riches, those killed al Kadush Hashem for the sanctification of God's name, the martyrs of the Jewish people. I invite you to rise as well. 598, Kaddish Yatom, Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. V'yalma divra chirute, v'yamlich malchute, v'chayechon u'vyomechon, v'chayeh dechal beit Yisrael. V'agalah u'vizman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Leolam Ulalmei Almaya. Yiparach, V'yishtabach, V'yipa'ar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, V'yitaleh, V'yithalal, Shemei Dekudisha, Barichu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, Tushbachata v'nechamata, Damiran Be'alma, V'yimru Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu, V'al kol Yisrael, V'yimru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, kol Yoshvei Tevel v'imru Amen. Zecher Tzadik Livracha from Proverbs 10:7. Memory of our righteous ones is always for a blessing. And we say Amen. You may be seated. Tomorrow at 11 is Shabbat morning services with lunch, Shabbat lunch, Kiddush lunch, and Torah study at 12:30. Sunday is our big end of the year Hebrew school, religious school bash. You don't know if you're going to be there. What? That's crazy talk. All right. Where are you going to be? Any place good? North Georgia? What's in North Georgia besides mountains? Girl Scouts. An overnight? Wow. All right. Well, the rest of you come to the Hebrew school end of the year blowout. I hope you get badges. Did you get badges? I don't know. I don't know how it works. What else do we need to do? Mr. President? That's it? Annual meeting, did that happen already? Good. Who's the president now? We're gonna. Oh, good. So we need to have a celebration for you. For you. Yeah, but for you. Rod, he's the president. He's going to be the president. He gets a limo and a plane from Qatar. No, he doesn't get that. Not at all. I invite you to turn to page 625. And is there, first of all, thanks to Brittany for working the comm back there. Is there an oneg situation or no? We thank whoever shows up and puts any food out anytime that happens. And our police officer, go say thanks to them if you see them on the way out, if you're here. And thanks to you online for being part of this as well. Page 625, Adon Olam. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nibra Le'et Nasa V'chefso Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra V'yacharei Kichlot HaKol Levado Yimloch Nora V'hu Haya V'hu Hoveh V'hu Yihye B'tifara V'hu Echad V'ein Sheni Lehamshilo Lehachbira B'li Reshit B'li Tachlit V'lo Ha'oz V'hamisra V'hu Eli V'chai Goli V'tzor Chavli B'eit Tzara V'hu Nisi Umanosli Menat Kosi Beyom Ekra Beyado Avkid Ruchi B'eti Shan V'ayira V'im Ruchi Geviati Adonai Li V'lo Ira. Good Shabbos, Shabbat Shalom, Buen Shabbat. I will see you tomorrow, maybe. Come to shul. We'd love to see you. You too tired for tomorrow? But you're like twerking down there. What do you? You seem like you're very energetic.